Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis, and yes, I'm in the vehicle. It is just pouring down rain here. It's been doing it all morning, and it looks like it's gonna rain probably for at least a good 24 hours, which makes it difficult to film a video outside in the pouring rain. And the house is kind of small, and they're in there homeschooling the kids, so I decided I'd just sit here in the dry vehicle and talk to you guys and gals. So I've been working on the map, sending out emails, just going through it. And you know, one of the things that I want to talk about is it's part of the video. And if you're not familiar with what the map is, there's a link in the description below. It's a way for you folks to connect. Trying to come up with a way to kind of an icebreaker, you know, and I'll be the go-between to kind of break the ice and help folks find others that are like-minded in their area. And so I'm going through the list and inputting all these emails, and I'm still getting a lot of emails, and please keep sending them. There will also be an email in the description that you can email me what you need to do to get on the list so that you can possibly find others in your area. But I was thinking about it as I'm compiling all this and going through it, is there's a lot of you and you're all over the place. And there's some of you that are in areas that I guess I'm just biased or something, but I wouldn't think, you know, it's like, wow, there's people in Seattle, you know, all we hear about in the news is how Seattle is just this, you know, crazy mess that's going on, and it's a bunch of New World Order, liberal kind of, you know, mindset and all this kind of stuff, or Chicago or Portland or LA, New York City. A lot of places that people that live out here like I do in the country, and I think the majority of my listeners probably, you know, are more rural based, would not think that, what? There's people that are prepping, there's people that are aware of what's going on that live in these areas, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if you're going to stay where you're at and try to survive there, then that's fine. I hope your plans that you have are, you know, you've worked out your prepping plan to make a go at it where you're at. But the point is that we're everywhere. Folks like you and I, we may come from all different backgrounds, you know, different belief systems, raised in completely different regions, and growing up under different types of households, raised a different way, different race, different nationality even. And yet here we are realizing that what is going on right now in our country and around the world is a little strange, and for some even scary. And we realize that we need to be ready for the things that are happening. There's just too much going on, too many weird things going on, to just sit back and say, it's just 2020. It's just this weird fluke of a year that's there's just crazy stuff going on. There's enough of us that are realizing that we need to take this seriously, especially those of us that's been preppers for years. We've prepped always for the what ifs. Well, what if this happens? What if this happens? And now it's actually happening. We believe it's happening. And so we're getting ready for it. And then there's all you new folks that are really woken up in the last 6-12 months or so, and realized that I need to get on board on getting myself ready. And there's all this stuff that's happening in the news, and then there's all this stuff that's kind of happening behind the curtain, the conspiracies and the just the oddities that's happening that make too many connections. And I think for a lot of us that feel like we're alone, that we think, man, there's no one else around us that are like us. Am I the only one that thinks like this? Am I the only one that sees? When a presidential candidate speaks, or when the news, releases some new information or whatever, am I the only one that sees through this, that sees that something else is actually going on? And I think that what I am realizing, I always wanted to believe this, but what I'm realizing doing this is that we're not alone. There are a lot of us. And I know that I'm only seeing just a very small sampling. This channel is growing, and it's grown a lot just in the last week or two, but it's still really small compared to a lot of other YouTube channels or websites or just individuals that do similar type of things. So I know I'm only seeing just a small percentage of it, but it's very encouraging to me to see that there are so many people out there that really get it, and they're really concerned, and they want to do everything they can to be prepared. There are some really crazy things, and I'm not even talking about the health crisis and the election and the civil unrest. Those three things alone, they've kind of dominated the news cycle for the last 6 months or so, and they're important. And each of them have their own risks and dangers, and what they're leading to, and what they can eventually develop into, that can take away our rights, or that can create a situation that's dangerous for us. But something I've talked about a lot here, and I'm not going to get into it deeply today, but I think it's all part of a bigger plan. There's several videos that I have produced that talk about this, but there's a lot of other people that do the same thing. And if you start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, it really starts to indicate that there's much more going on than just some really crazy, strange, radical things that's happening in 2020. The Great Reset, something else that I don't think I've talked about at all, that how this is the 2020, in fact, it's December 21st, 2020, is the dawning of a new age. Remember the song in the 70s, this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius? Yeah, well, it happens December 21st of 2020, which is significant for, shall we say, satanic Luciferian type people. They've really look at that as a significant change. There's all kinds of stuff. The New World Order, Agenda 2020, or Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. On and on. We could just talk about all the strangeness that's going on a global level with what appears to be the final push for this new world order that many of us have talked about for years, that politicians have talked about, that's been out there, and has been this, well, it's a conspiracy theory, but it's real, but it's not what you think, but it's better than you think. It's just, all this is happening, and it's all happening now, and it's could potentially lead us to a future that could possibly really trample on the individuality that we have cherished here in the United States, that freedom of to be free, to think free, to act free, is something that many of us have just that's how we've identified ourselves. And here we have this radical change happening around us, and many of us see the possibility of this taking us down a road that has only been spoken of in whispers and possibilities and what ifs. And it looks and it appears for many of us that is where we are headed. And maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. But one thing we know for sure is that there are a lot of us. And it's not just here on this channel or even here in the United States. I've been getting emails from people in other countries. Canada, I've been getting a lot from Canada, but from other countries also. And we see on the news and we see online occasionally little glimpses of indication that there are people that think like us and that desire the same things as we do in other countries. So while it can become very discouraging to see all this happen and know that there's a lot of very powerful people on this planet that are pushing this forward, and they have a lot of money and a lot of power and a lot of advanced technologies, and it almost can seem futile to resist. But I think history tells us a different story. History shows us that if we do resist, that we can prevail. It doesn't mean that would be easy. It doesn't mean that the enemy would just cower away and just because there's enough of us. But I think history has shown us over and over again that just simple resistance by us, whether it's an actual physical resistance, meaning a conflict, a violent conflict, or just a resistance of ideology and resistance to comply, that we can defeat this. We can defeat the things that are happening. We can overcome this big brother type of government here nationally and internationally that just seems hell-bent on consuming just about everything it can from us, whether it's wealth, freedom, property, and anything in between. So I guess today's video is hopefully an encouraging one for those of you out there that are prepping, that are getting your families ready, that are still trying to convince your families. Maybe you're are spending more time in prayer. You're spending more time at home trying to get yourselves ready, learn skills, doing everything that you believe that you can to get ready for possibly what is headed towards us. Just know that you're not alone. And while you may feel that the odds are against you, maybe the location that you're at scares you, maybe you're all alone and that scares you, maybe you're new to this and that scares you, maybe you don't have the money to be prepared as you want to be and that scares you. Maybe, and I've had a lot of people email me that are saying this, that maybe you're an elderly person or a single mother or disabled. And you're asking, is there even a chance, that someone like myself can survive whatever might happen? And I think there is. Because the best thing that you can do right now physically to prepare, aside from a spiritual sense, is just preparing your mind, developing the mindset that you can prevail against this, learning as much as you can, developing the psychological strength to stand up against all the craziness and to keep your wits about you through all the craziness. Those things right there alone, I think, increases your odds of not just surviving through this, but coming out on the other side pretty well. I think it helps a lot. Now, of course, there's the physical part, the things that you can prepare and stock up on, and Also making connections with other people, building community connections on a local level. Those are all very, very important things also. And hopefully that's what we can help you do through this channel. But just know that you can make it. I don't think we're going to end up in some kind of Mad Max type of scenario. You older guys and gals like myself know what that means. Maybe, well, they did have a Mad Max movie a few years ago, so you probably know what that means. I mean, it's possible, but I just don't think that that's the scenario. I do think we're going to see a lot of things coming at us over the next 12 months. New technologies and new laws and a lot of changes to our society. That's what this whole Great Reset is about. Where we'll end up, I don't know, at least not in the short term. I do believe in the long term, though, that we will prevail. And so what we have to do is have faith in that, and that that those of us that are prepping, that are trying to be sustainable, self-sufficient, that are trying to learn and to develop skills every chance we can, and are trying to increase our preparedness level through our supplies and food and preps and stuff like that, that all put together, no matter how little it may be of some of those things, that just doing something greatly increases your preparedness level, far and above most of the average person. Because you know what? The average person doesn't do much at all. And not only are they not physically prepared, they're certainly, and most importantly, not mentally prepared for the things that are happening and that will happen in the future. So, as we wrap this up today, don't be discouraged. I understand the worries and the possible fears, and the especially because of the unknown and the what ifs. But don't find yourself getting too discouraged. Through this channel and through the things that we're trying to do here, we're hoping to help you make connections with other people, and if nothing else, if it's just a network of a kind of a support group where folks can kind of lean on each other, that would also be helpful. And there's been a lot of people that's asked to be added to this list that's told me that they've been a prepper and a survivalist for years, and that they're willing to help teach others in their area. So there's always that possibility. But don't let all this stuff that's happening overwhelm you to a point that you just give up, because that is when we're defeated, is when we give up. We have to keep our wits about us and know that that just our mere resistance to what they're doing can be enough to overcome all this that's happening. All right, folks. Like and subscribe to the channel if you would. When you subscribe, if you click that little notification bell off to the side, you'll get notifications of when I upload videos. There are a lot of links down in the description below. Some of them are products that I work with and offer to you, good products, and also some links to get in contact with me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.